What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and I'm going to be doing a Scareclaw deck profile. So I'm really excited to show you guys because this deck is a really awesome deck that summons out an incredible boss monster, Scareclaw Tryhard, which is just such an awesome card because it turns every face-up monster your opponent controls into defense position. And paired with some of the tech cards I have in this deck, this card is absolutely nuts. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell and there soon come part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name scripted in a single video, getting a signed card sent in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron, along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Scareclaw Tryhard. This card is a really good 3 of in the deck as it has the ability that you can special summon this card from your hand to a main monster zone adjacent to a Scareclaw monster that you control or in its column. And you can only special summon this card once per turn this way, which all of your other monsters that are Scareclaw monsters in the main deck share that ability, which is really awesome that they can all special summon themselves. This card also has a really awesome unique ability. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Scareclaw spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Then, if 3 or more defense position monsters are on the field, then you can draw a card, which is really good that you get a search and a draw off of Tryhard, which is a crazy powerful effect. We then play 3 copies of Scareclaw Astra. Astra is a really good 3 of in the deck because it has a really good unique ability that your Scareclaw monsters in the extra monster zone can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of defense position Scareclaw monsters that you control with different names, which is a really good effect to help you just go in for game by attacking multiple times. We then play 3 copies of Scareclaw Balone. Balone is a really good card in the deck because it has the ability, if your Scareclaw monster in the extra monster zone attacks a defense position monster, it does piercing damage, which is really good that it just basically stacks different effects onto your extra monster zone, which is going to be your Tryhard that you're going to be giving all these really awesome effects to. We then play 3 copies of Scareclaw Acro. Acro is a really good 3 of as well in the deck because it has the ability that your Scareclaw monsters in the extra monster zones gain 300 attack for each defense position monster that you control, which is a pretty good effect to be able to just boost up that monster even bigger to help you go in for game. We then play 2 copies of Starfrost. Starfrost is a good 2 of in the deck because it has the ability that if this card's in your hand, then you can target a monster that you control with a different type and attribute than this card and destroy that monster. And if you do, special summon this card, and you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, then you can make this card gain attack equal to half the original attack or defense of that monster, whichever is higher, and it's your choice if it's a tie, which is a really good effect. But we're actually using this card because it's a tuner in the deck to be able to get us into some really good synchro plays. We then play 3 copies of Parallel Izzy. Parallel Izzy is a really good 3 of because it has the ability, if you link summon, you can special summon this card to a zone a link monster points to, which is a really good effect, and then special summon out another copy of Parallel Izzy from the deck, but make them both level 4 and 1000 attack and 1000 defense, which can help us link climb into some really good boss monsters. We then play a single copy of Psychic Wielder because if we control a level 3 monster, we can special summon this card from our hand, which most of our Scareclaw monsters actually are level 3, so it's really nice to be able to summon this card to your side of the field, especially with E-Telly in this deck. We then play a single copy of Psychic Tracker, which shares the exact same effect as Wielder, that if you control a level 3 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field, which is really good to help you link climb into some really good plays. We then play 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit because this card is just a really good card overall in the deck, because when a monster on the field activates its effect, or a spell or trap card that's already faced on the field activates its effect, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that card, which is an awesome effect to be able to use, especially with E-Telly being able to special summon this card from deck, just like your copy of Wielder and Tracker. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is just a really good hand trap overall to make sure that the opponent doesn't touch the deck while we're going in for all of our really good plays. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Rhoda, because Rykart is actually a warrior monster, so you can actually search it from the deck with your copy of Rhoda, essentially being a fourth copy. We then play a single copy of Monster Reborn, because it just helps us extend our plays into all sorts of amazing cards, so this card is a definite one-of in this build. We then play a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is just a really good card overall in this deck, because it lets us search from our deck to our hand our really powerful field spell, which is a great card to be able to grab because it's actually a searcher. We then play two copies of Scareclaw Arrival. Scareclaw Arrival is actually another copy of Monster Reborn because it lets you target a Scareclaw monster or a Starfrost in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. And if a Scareclaw link monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, then you can manage this card from your graveyard instead, which is a really good effect to be able to use to give you that extra layer of protection. So this card is a definite 2-of in this deck. We then play three copies of Primitive Planet. Primitive Planet is a great 3-of in the deck because when this card is activated, you can add a Scareclaw monster or a Starfrost from your deck to your hand. And monsters your opponent control lose 100 attack and defense for each defense position monster on the field. And if 3 or more defense position monsters are on the field, then you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. And you can only use this effect of this card once per turn, and you can only activate one of this card per turn. So this card is a great 3-of in the deck because it's a searcher, and it also makes your opponent's monsters lose attack and defense points to help you go in for game. We then play three copies of E-Telly. E-Telly is a great 3-of in the deck because it just helps you special summon out your copy of your Psychic Wielder, Psychic Tracker, or even Ghost Ogre to your side of the field to help you link climb into some really powerful monsters. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of Scareclaw Splash. Splash is a really good 1-of in the deck because it lets you once per turn target a Scareclaw monster or a Starfrost that you control, and it can attack while in face-up defense position this turn. And if it does, you apply the attack or defense, whichever is higher, for the damage calculation, which is a really good effect because it basically turns that monster into essentially a super heavy samurai monster, which is really neat. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, while you control a Scareclaw monster in the extra monster zone, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard to negate that effect, which just gives you an added layer of protection, which is really good. So we're actually going to play Guess That Card for this tech card that is absolutely insane in this deck. So I'm going to put these three cards face down right here, and you guys are going to guess down below in the comments what this card actually is, because this card is absolutely insane and just a really awesome tech trap card. So while we're doing that, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and let's reveal it in 3, 2, definitely comment down below what you think it is, 1, and let's take a look at what it is, and it's actually going to be 3 copies of Gorgon's Eye. So I've always wanted to find a deck that this card could actually be played in, and I finally have. This card is absolutely broken with Tryhard because it has the ability to, until the end phase of this turn, all monsters that are in defense position have their effects negated. This card is absolutely nuts in this deck because it can turn an entire turn off when you have Tryhard on your side of the field. So this card is a definite 3-of in the deck because it's pretty much like a Dark Ruler No More in trap form, but we can still do damage, which is absolutely insane. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. This is here to basically catch the link monsters that Gorgon's Eye can't catch because link monsters can't be switched into defense position. So this card can negate monster effects on the field. So this card is a definite 3-of in the deck. It can also lock down columns, which is really nice for spells and traps. So this card is a definite 3-of in this build. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Scareclaw Tryhard. Tryhard is a really good card in this deck because it has the ability that must be link summoned and all face-up monsters on the field are changed to defense position, and it's unaffected by the activated effects of defense position monsters. And then once per turn, if this card is in the extra monster zone, you can target a level 3 Scareclaw monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And if you do, add a Scareclaw monster from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters through the rest of the turn except Scareclaw Scareclaw monsters, which is a really good effect because it's basically going to guarantee you 2 of the buffs off of your level 3 Scareclaw monsters. So this card is a really good card to be able to put in the deck, and it's just an absolutely crazy powerful link monster. We then play a single copy of Access Code Talker just in case we need to pop cards on the field, 1 copy of Appaloosa because it's super easy to put a bunch of monsters on the field in this deck to make an Appaloosa with like 4 materials, so this card is really good, 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff, Phoenix to pop spells and traps, IP Masquerena because you can make Unicorn during the opponent's turn, which is a really awesome effect, 1 copy of Cherubini because it helps you set up the graveyard, so this card is a great card in the deck, and also climb into some other really powerful cards, 1 copy of Baron de Fleur for our Synchro monsters because our copy of Starfrost is a level 6 tuner monster, so you can use your Rykart with that card to be able to make Baron de Fleur, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of the Virtual World QB because it's a great card that, depending on your matchup, can completely shut down your opponent's field because any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So comboing this card with your comboing this card with your Starfrost, which is a level 6 tuner, along with any of your level 3 monsters, can make this card, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Baguska. You can make this off your Parallel Z, so this card is really good just to change everything to defense position. So this card is a definite one of in the deck. 1 copy of Breaksword because it can pop cards on your field and your opponent's field. 1 copy of number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, because this card is just really good to have as a negate. 1 copy of Downer Magician, because Downer Magician can be made on top of Gossip Shadow, or your copy of Breaksword to then make Zeus that has additional materials to keep board wiping the field. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a super fun deck to be able to play with. If you guys have never played with Scareclaw, I highly recommend it. It's super fun to be able to play because you're basically just trying to get to that copy of your Tryhard as quickly as possible. With this build, it's really easy. I like to go first in this particular build because basically what you're trying to do is make your copy of Tryhard and then give it all those different boosts and back it up with cards like Gorgon's Eye to be able to get those really powerful buffs. So anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.